With the upcoming anniversary of Buddy Holly's passing, someone recently suggested I take a look at other legendary musicians whose lives were lost in similar circumstances. It felt like the right moment to explore these stories, not to dwell on tragedy, but to remember the artists whose music continues to echo long after they're gone. Today, we're looking at 15 musicians whose journeys ended in the sky, yet whose legacies remain firmly grounded in the hearts of millions. 15 musicians we lost in aviation tragedies. Glenn Miller, 1944. Glenn Miller wasn't just a bandleader, he was the sound of the 1940s. In the Mood, Moonlight Serenade, Chattanooga Choo Choo, his music defined an era. During World War II, Miller was flying from England to France to entertain the troops when his plane vanished over the English Channel. No wreckage was ever found, turning his disappearance into one of music's most enduring mysteries. Even today, fans still debate what might have happened. But one thing is certain, its influence on American music remains unmatched. Buddy Holly, 1959. As we approach the anniversary of his passing, it's impossible not to reflect on how much Buddy Holly accomplished in just 22 years. He helped shape rock and roll itself, influencing everyone from the Beatles to Bruce Springsteen. Holly was traveling between tour stops when a small plane carrying him, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper went down shortly after takeoff. His life was cut short at a moment when his creativity was only accelerating. Ritchie Valens, 1959. Ritchie Valens was only 17, yet he had already changed American music forever. La Bamba wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural milestone, bringing Mexican-American music into the mainstream. Despite his fear of flying, Valens boarded the plane that night to avoid a long, freezing bus ride. His passing remains one of the most heartbreaking what-ifs in music history. The Big Bopper, J.P. Richardson, 1959. Known for his booming voice and the hit Chantilly Lace, the Big Bopper brought humor, personality, and showmanship to early rock and roll. He joined Holly and Valens on the same flight due to illness and the need for rest. This moment, the loss of all three artists together, was later memorialized in Don McLean's song American Pie, where it became known as The Day the Music Died. Patsy Cline, 1963. Patsy Cline had one of the most unforgettable voices in country music. Songs like Crazy and I Fall to Pieces still resonate decades later. She was returning home from a benefit concert when her plane encountered severe weather and went down in Tennessee. Cline was only 30, yet she had already become a legend. Many artists today still cite her as one of their greatest inspirations. Jim Reeves, 1964. Nicknamed Gentleman Jim, Reeves helped shape the Nashville sound with his smooth, warm vocals. He was flying near Nashville when his plane encountered a storm and went down in a wooded area. Reeves was only 40, and his passing left a lasting impact on country music. His songs continued charting long after he was gone, showing just how beloved he was. Otis Redding, 1967. Otis Redding's voice carried a raw emotional power that few artists have ever matched. He was just 26 when his plane crashed in Wisconsin. 3 days later, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay was released, becoming his first #1 hit. It's impossible not to wonder what else he would have created had he been given more time. Jim Croce, 1973. Jim Croce had a gift for storytelling. Time in a Bottle, Operator, Bad Bad Leroy Brown. His songs felt like a conversation with an old friend. Croce was finishing a concert tour when his plane crashed during takeoff. He was only 30, and his career was just beginning to soar. His music remains a staple of singer-songwriter playlists to this day. Ronnie Van Zant, 1977. Lynyrd Skynyrd was at the height of their success when tragedy struck. Ronnie Van Zant, the band's lead singer, was lost when their plane crashed in Mississippi while en route to a show. Also taken in the crash were guitarist Steve Gaines and backup vocalist Cassie Gaines, both rising stars in their own right. The band's story is one of resilience, but the loss of three members in a single moment remains one of rock's most painful chapters. Randy Rhoads, 1982. Randy Rhoads was a guitar prodigy whose work with Ozzy Osbourne helped redefine metal guitar. His blend of classical technique and rock aggression made him one of the most influential guitarists of all time. Rhodes was tragically lost in a low-flying plane accident during a tour stop. He was just 25, yet his legacy continues to shape guitar players around the world. Ricky Nelson, 1985. Ricky Nelson transitioned from teen idol to respected country rock artist with ease. He and his band were traveling to a New Year's Eve performance when their plane caught fire and went down. Nelson's passing shocked fans who had grown up watching him on television and listening to his music evolve over the decades. Stevie Ray Vaughn, 1990. Stevie Ray Vaughn was a force of nature, a blues guitarist whose playing felt like lightning in human form. After performing at a concert featuring Eric Clapton and others, Vaughan boarded a helicopter that crashed shortly after takeoff. He was 35, and widely considered one of the greatest guitarists alive. Its influence is still felt in blues, rock, and beyond. John Denver, 1997. John Denver's music captured the beauty of nature and the warmth of home. Songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads and Annie's Song became global anthems. Denver was piloting an experimental aircraft when he was lost in a crash off the coast of California. His passing left a void in folk and pop music that has never truly been filled. Aaliyah, 2001. Aaliyah was redefining R&B for a new generation, with hits like Try Again and Are You That Somebody. She was poised to become one of the biggest stars of the 2000s. After filming a music video in the Bahamas, her plane crashed shortly after takeoff. She was only 22, and her passing sent shockwaves through the music world. Troy Gentry, 2017. As half of Montgomery Gentry, Troy Gentry helped shape modern country music with hits that blended rock energy and southern storytelling. He was lost in a helicopter crash in New Jersey while preparing for a show. His bandmate, Eddie Montgomery, has continued performing, keeping their music alive for fans. Each of these artists left behind a legacy that continues to inspire millions. Their stories remind us how fragile life can be, and how powerful music becomes when the people behind it are gone too soon. If you'd like more deep dive videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your suggestions in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.